with Museveni. We have not and we shall not take a part in any dialogue because we don't discuss our fundamental human rights. Those are enshrined in the Constitution. We cannot start discussing with Museveni whether he will allow us to be human beings or not. And like we said before, Museveni believes that he must squeeze you on the ground, put his boot on your neck, and then say, let us talk. That is not the kind of dialogue that we hope to take part in, ladies and gentlemen. Our two MPs and hundreds of other political prisoners are innocent. They were illegally detained. So if anyone took part, and please quote me, if anyone took part in any talks with Museveni, that was not with our knowledge or endorsement. And if any promises were made, those were fake promises. To you, Mr. Museveni, if anybody spoke to you claiming to represent NUP, you were conned. I thought it's important to make that clear. I have spoken to the leader of opposition, being the head of our front in parliament, about the allegations, and he has trashed them just like he has trashed them publicly. And like he has said, until concrete evidence to the same is provided, we shall still consider that as regime propaganda. We must be careful, ladies and gentlemen, not to allow Museveni to sow seeds of mistrust amongst us, because that's what he wants to do. That is what he did to DP, that's what he did to FDC, and that's what he wants to do to us. We must be very, very careful. At the same time, friends, and quote me carefully, at the same time we must look out for any sellouts because they are among us. I repeat, we must look out for any sellouts because they are what? They are among us. The question is, how do we deal with suspicions? Because there could be suspicions that we could treat as facts. This was suspicion on one hand, and there's evidence on the other. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is important to remind fellow Ugandans that Museveni is just using the courts of law as tools of oppression. I mean, if somebody has committed a crime, why don't the courts work? Why does that criminal, why do they have to negotiate with Museveni to get their freedom? What is the purpose of the courts and the judges? I was also actually, I was listening to the so-called Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Robert Mao. He was saying he was working behind the scenes. That's what he said. Now, if he was working behind the scenes, negotiating for the release of people charged with capital offenses, what kind of corruption is that? Mao calls himself a lawyer, but he's not even ashamed to say that this is no longer about the law, it's about politics. He's not ashamed to show the world that this is not prosecution anymore, it is persecution. That is Norbert Mao for you, Museveni's Minister for Justice, Injustice and Constitutional Affairs. I will also say this. We know that some of our leaders have even publicly asked us to negotiate our freedom. Some of renowned elders and leaders from our party have asked us to negotiate our fundamental rights, and we shall answer them publicly in capital letters that we do not and will never negotiate our rights because we are not slaves and we have committed no crime. We cannot stop them from expressing their views and opinions, but we disagree with those views and opinions. Therefore, tell them when they speak, they are not speaking for us, they are not representing us but themselves and their stomachs. Unfortunately, we have not yet been able to speak to Honorable Sejirinya and Honorable Sewanyana, so we cannot speak for them right now. But I will say this on behalf of People Power and the National Unity Platform, that the position we were holding when they were taken to prison is the same position that we hold, and it is the same position that we shall hold forever. It is not a crime to oppose Museveni. It is not a crime at all to oppose Museveni. It is my hope and prayer that these two honorable members will still stand for the same position when they get chance to speak to the nation. Finally, I will once again remind you, friends, that the current behavior of this regime is not a sign of strength, but neither is our behavior. Our behavior in the past few days was certainly not a sign of strength. No, bickering and infighting is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of weakness. But standing firm and speaking out with concrete evidence is a sign of strength. We must not be scattered. I want to assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that Museveni is weak and falling. But dictators, even if they look like they are on the verge of falling, if you don't do what you must do, they can last for a whole year and another and another and another, just like Mugabe. I am confident that Museveni is falling. But I want to encourage us, ladies and gentlemen, to prepare ourselves to be the leaders that the people want us to be. We are not as scattered, we are not as divided as we are projected. But again, we are not as united as we must be. So for any box that needs ticking, let us tick it. For any work that we must do, let us do it, ladies and gentlemen. The past days I've been traveling. I was in Masindi, I was in Serere, I was in Iganga, I was in where else? I was in Hoima and Mubende. And I'll tell you that in a Robert style, I'll be reaching in every corner of this country. But I call upon you to also be the Kyagulanyi in your area. Do what you want me to do. Don't do what you wouldn't want me to do. Thank you for listening to me. Katika mbyogere ne mu bicholi. Basebo ne banyabo, first of all, nze nyina essanyu ly'amaanyi okuba tuli wano lwaleero. Nsanyuse nnyo ebigambo muganda waffe tawa byayogedde, era sijja biddamu. Wali nkiikiridde nkakasa nammwe bibakiikiridde nnyo. Bw'abaawo omuntu yenna ng'abadde atandise okukkiriza propaganda wa Museveni nti aba NUP bali mu kusasika tebakwatagana. Olwaleero ndubuuza nga tetulina na kye twayogedde bafunye ansa yaabwe. Njagala nnyo in fact n'okwogera ku nkuba Lopa kyogeddeko mwattu enkuba si mu Buganda wokka naye mu Afrika wonna. Kabonero ka mikisa naddala nga tegamenye stage. Njagala nnyo okwogera ku nsonga ssatu zokka abasebo ne bannyawo. Njagala okwaniriza era commissioninga timu zaffe ezakunga za mobilization. Njagala okwebaza mukulembeze munnaffe Mike check akulira okunga Comrade Nyanzi ne bakulembeze banno mwenna mwebale nnyo omulimu ogw'ettendo gwe mukoze. mukyagenda maaso n'okukola wadde nga mugukolera mu bubi. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala, mutuweesa nnyo ekitiibwa. Mukunga kitegeeza kuŋŋaanya abantu, kitegeeza kuyita bantu. Naye ate saawa zino kikulu nnyo 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 okunga. Lwaki? Kubanga basebo ne bannyabo tulina omulimu, ate ng'omulimu ogwo tegulinda gw'okutaasa eggwanga lyaffe. Tawa byayogeddeko bingi, nkakasa singa oyitawo mukyalo mukadde wano n'oyitawo omuntu ava mu Northern Uganda, Eastern Uganda, Western Uganda ne walala, bajja kubulira ebintu bye bimu. So tulina omulimu gwe tulina okukola embagirawo okutaasa eggwanga lyaffe. Naye ogwo omulimu tusobola okugukola mu ngeri emu yokka, nga tukunze bannayuganda ne beekwatiramu ne tutaasa ku guno obusajja. N'olw'ensonga eyo bannange, muli very important. You are very, very important, you comrades in the mobilization wing. And I want to commission you today, send you out there to be the representation of us. Naye nyina obalabula nti kano ke mukuŋŋaanye wano nakyemalya naye kamera ze zitulimu bwe ziti. Era agenda kufuba nnyo alabe nga abasalako omu ku omu, abakompromising, abatiisetiise oba abagulirire. Njagala obbasaba baganda baabwe nti muyimirire nnyo 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 ku mulamwa ogw'abantu, kuba gwe mulamwa gwokka oguliwo. Njagala obbasaba temukkiriza kubagulirira. Eyo gye mugenda okunga abantu, mugenda kusinkanayo bakulembeze bannaffe, naddala abalondebwa, ba MPs, ba district chairpersons, ba mayors, ba councillors n'abalala. Basaba mukwatagane nabo bulungi, temulwanagana nabo. Kiddamu, basaba mukwatagane nabo bulungi, temulwanagana nabo. Kuba nfunye reports nyingi nnyo nga abakulembeze, abalonde n'abo abakunga abantu ng'ebiseera ebimu bakontana. Bannange mbasaba mufube muleme tuwa kifaananyi kibi. Saagala bantu batunulire nga gurupu y'abantu abalwanira obufoofofo, kuba omulamwa gwe tuliko munene nnyo okusinga ebifo ebyo ebyokwesimbako. So mbere kwalaali ate temutswa